brings discipline? Purpose, an ideal, an altar, direction. Whenever we have direction in life, then we move. If we don't have a direction, we don't move. A person who comes to my classes, he works for a car company. He was telling me they took a series of cars onto ice, and they were driving them around. And everyone who was driving was slipping around. Then the trainer had told them, the person facilitating this workshop, stare at something that's not moving, whether it's a tree or a house or whatever there is, whatever is over there. And every one of these cars straightened out. Until then, no direction. After then, direction. What does direction bring? Discipline. What does discipline bring? Energy. What does energy bring? The ability to evolve. What does the ability to evolve bring? Happiness. And what is it that we need? Happiness. H-E-E-D-D. He. I was actually trying to spin this acronym into, in Breaking Bad, that one character's name is Jesse. So I was thinking joy, evolving, instead of energy, I was thinking something else, and I couldn't figure it out. But see if you can come up with that acronym. Take the message, happiness, evolve, energy, discipline, direction. Let's spin it to Jesse. That way every time you watch Breaking Bad, then, you remember, don't be like him. Be like the acronym, and be like the acronym. So he. Now, as we invoke this message, we need to leave here being able to practice this. So at this point, it's somewhat philosophical, even though I don't believe it is. I feel it's highly practical. But I'll try to make this even more practical. As I'm sharing the next series of thoughts, in your mind, make a goal for yourself before you leave here, before you go to sleep tonight. In Sanskrit, we call it a sankalpa. Make an intention of how you are going to live. Happiness, evolve, energy, discipline, direction. As we think about this goal has to be inspiring. If something doesn't inspire us, we don't move because of that. But anything that inspires us, we are moved by it. When I decided to move to India, it was in August of 2004, my teacher, who wasn't my teacher at the time, was going to be my teacher. He said, learn as much Sanskrit as you can before you come. So I ordered the Rosetta Stone copy. I was doing commercial real estate at this time, and every day I went to the public library for 1 hour during lunch, and I would try to learn Sanskrit. And I'm not a foolish person. I graduated, I was working, but I couldn't even learn the script. Devanagari I couldn't do. Then I show up in an ashram, in a monastery in India, and the person who was teaching us Sanskrit, loved Sanskrit. He was certainly capable. He has a master's in Sanskrit, but more than that, he loved the subject. He loved the language. It was his love for Sanskrit that helped all of us students to learn the same. And I learned more in 1 week from him than I did in those months studying by myself. So he inspired us, and so we were moved by it. So whatever goal you think of, is it inspiring? If you're not overweight and you want to lose weight, that's not going to inspire you. Something that will bring change, something that will bring happiness into your life. Let that be the goal. And think, as you're thinking about this goal, visualize how your life will be different if you have reached that goal. Whether it's a health goal or a mental goal or a social goal, visualize that, hey, this is how my life will be different. It will keep on inspiring us. So the goal has to be inspiring. The goal has to be clear. Goal, resolution, resolve, intention, clear. If it's not clear, then I don't know what to do. Just like driving. I don't think Pittsburgh has too much fog, but if you go to certain cities like San Francisco, there's so much fog around the Golden Gate Bridge that everyone just has to drive slower. You can't see in front of never anything that's purely good or anything that's purely bad. It's intensely cold outside. There's no precipitation. When it's so cold, it can't snow. Whereas when there's lots of snow, it's really not that cold. So in either way, you lose, essentially, is what I'm saying, if you live in the Northeast. So the goal has to be clear. And in this clarity, a good way to know if our goal is clear is if it's simple. A lot of us take up these complex changes, and what do we end up doing? Nothing. But if it's clear, we're able to make that change. Inspired, clear. And the last point related to whatever resolution we make is that this goal has to be examined. Think lots about why are you taking this goal up? Is it because someone is forcing you to do it? What are the chances of us actually doing it if someone forces us to do it? It's not going to happen. But if you choose to do it, you will do it. Our potential is far more than we believe it is. The sad part is that we keep looking to each other to validate ourselves. Yesterday I spoke at Chinmaya, a weird name of the city. Right? That's what it is. Did I pronounce it correctly? And I was speaking on being free of worry. When you and I are by ourselves, in a vacuum, we don't worry. It's only when another person comes that worry begins. In other words, competition begins. How fast are you? How smart are you? How good looking are you? Etc. And I start to worry on that. But if I lived in a vacuum, what would I worry about? And so in Sanskrit we say, where there is one, there is shanti. Shanti means peace. Where there is two, there is kranti, anger. You can only get mad if there's another person around. And what's fascinating about that, the people we are to love the most are the people that we get angry at the most. Siblings, significant others, parents. And where there's three, there is bhranti. Bhranti means confusion. There is politics. So why I'm sharing this idea of we have to examine the goal. It's not about others. It's about us. And some may think that's very selfish. No. Self-development is the most selfless path one can take. Because the more you develop, the more everyone develops. For those who study economics, a group of individuals makes up a society. A society is an abstract noun. You can't go to a society or buy a society. It is individuals who make up a society. So if an individual gets stronger, what happens to the society? It gets stronger too. Self-development is actually the most selfless way to live. But I have to examine that, because that's what will inspire me, I will be clear, and perhaps as we take up a goal, it's a wrong goal. But I will never know that unless I examine it. I need to keep refining my goal too, like a forecast. I'm not talking about weather. They're never right with weather. I'm talking about finances. If they have a third quarter forecast, and before it comes out, you'll already say, hey, we're not making that much money, or we're making more money, and everyone reacts accordingly. They keep perfecting that forecast. We have to keep refining our goal. And in the language of business, we call this, it should be measurable. That I should be visualizing my progress. So subtly, I've given you another acronym. The goal has to be what? What was the first word? Inspiring. The goal has to be? And the goal should be? Examined. So, inspiring, clear, examined. ICE. Every time you see ICE, let this acronym come up. The Breaking Bad and winter. This should change your life every time you come across either of these scenarios. I am going to propose a resolution for all of us. I'm only going to propose it. I'm going to suggest it. And naturally, it is for you to accept or to reject. And you apply to University of Pittsburgh or Carnegie Mellon or whatever school you're at, or whatever job, etc. You have to fill out an application. And the first section of the application deals with your body. What's your age? How tall are you? How heavy are you? What is your eye color? And so on and so forth. Second section of the application deals with your mind. What did you study? Where were you born? How many siblings do you have? Third section deals with your intellect. Do you believe in God? Who did you vote for? If you are on an island, which book would you bring? So this is what it's describing. Your body, your mind, your intellect. Back in the day, the way people got into school was simply IQ. How strong your intellect was. Then fast forward, they brought in the EQ, your emotional quotient. How balanced are you? Because you can be hardcore when it comes to academics, but if someone makes fun of you, you're devastated. They don't want people to study like that anymore.